To my podcast about sports, about sports.
Bitty bitty bop 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 bop. Look who is back. Howdy, Ags. See money from the
Hell
tailgate.
Yeah.
The fans have been clamoring for more C money.
Man, I've been busy. I've been on Paul Feinbaum a lot, so I've had to come back to the
You and cousin
real
Shane,
stuff.
right? You and cousin Shane.
Yeah.
Today's episode brought to you by Matthews Electric, full-service electrical contractor in the Brazos Valley. No job too big, no job too small. Call Blaine at 979-220-6403. Light up your home. Light up your life.
Right.
It's beautiful. Don't forget to email us at Ags Tailgate at gmail.com. YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Folks, it's kickoff! Look, it's official, Corey. College football is here. They played games this past weekend.
They were good games.
Open. Aggies open.
That was a good game this weekend. I listened to it on the radio. Georgia Tech and Florida State.
Haynes King
For a long
done.
season.
Haynes King getting things done.
I'll tell you that Ugalele guy, I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the nation. He can't throw the ball downfield to save his life. We talk about his arm strength, but I mean, if it's not a 5-6 yard pass, you don't have to cover him after 10 yards.
No. He's not very good. He missed a lot of open guys and opportunities. Haynes didn't have a great day throwing the football necessarily, but his legs, man.
Legs.
Yeah. So, Corey, this weekend, the Mike Elko era officially begins on the field. Notre Dame at Texas A&M, Kyle Field at its most impressive this weekend. It's going to be hot, might be wet. The crowd's going to be going wild. 6:30 p.m. kickoff time. ESPN game day, college game days in town. They got the full crew there. Prime time on ABC. Sir, how excited are you?
Buddy, I'm in for a 4-day weekend. I'm taking off work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Woo!
Just where I can 2 days to get messed up, 2 days to recover. I'm getting old and I can't recover like I used to.
You know that's right.
But I'll tell you what, man, I am stoked. I'm excited to see this Klein offense, see how it's different. I want to see what they've done to our offensive line. I want to see what Elko can do with his defense and all the talent that he has. I mean, I'm hearing stories. I'm hearing guys from A&M talk. The players saying how good this defensive line is might be the best in the nation. Well, I think Notre Dame might be saying, hey, pump your brakes. They got a pretty good defensive line themselves.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm gonna give you the spread and the over-under. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. Aggies favored by 3. That's up from 1.5, I think, where it opened more or less, right?
I thought Notre Dame started out favored.
While back. Over under. Ooh. Went down the wrong.
Yeah.
Over under.
You sound terrible.
Over under at 46.5. We'll talk about those here a little bit later. Today we did also had a comment on the Commander Luke. He pointed out that I may have caught a UFO flying behind me in the last recording from last week's episode. All I can say is I can neither confirm or deny whether or not I was abducted. Okay. All right. Today's show is all about this matchup, Corey. It's all about this matchup. 100% A&M and Notre Dame, except we're going to go through some lines for some other teams. Let's start off, and, we'll sort of do this one side of the ball at a time. Let's talk about the A&M offense versus this Notre Dame defense. If you ask me, this is all 100% about the A&M offensive line, right? We know Zune, Besantis and Reed Adams. That's 2 guards, your left tackle. We're gonna see both Kalinu and Naboo at center. We're gonna see both Crownover and Fothery at right tackle. But all those other guys are gonna play. Can this offensive line hold up against this Notre Dame defensive line, which is very highly regarded, especially at the defensive tackle spot? Right? What do you think? Is this offensive line going to hold up? Or are we that much more improved from last year?
I don't think it's so much they're improved because we saw what they were, but it's about playing to their strengths and not to their weaknesses. And I think Klein's going to do that. He's going to figure out, hey, these guys don't do this well, but they do this well, and that's what we're going to. And what is that they do well? They don't pass block real well. They haven't the last couple of years.
Look,
I mean,
I'll say this.
they,
You say that we've seen what they can do. I actually disagree with that because I think they were just so poorly coached that even technique wise and their ability to actually execute a block, they're going to be better there. But you're right. And I think more importantly, what's up?
he just jilted.
Oh, Cole.
All right.
More importantly, I agree with you in the sense that schematically with Klein and that offensive line group, he's going to do a better job of not putting them in bad positions, right? So,
Right.
To me, that's also a big part of it. But I do think physically they're going to be better as well. I am really excited about the interior of this offensive line, and I think that may be the key to this matchup.
Why are you excited about that? Tell me why you're excited about it.
One, man, this is going to sound bad. Foster's no longer playing for this team.
All right, who's starting at center?
It's going to be either Naboo or
Either. I like that. You're not even sure who's starting at center.
Yeah, but both of them are going to play throughout in this game. I'm telling you, both of them are going to play in this game.
Who's left guard? Besantis?
But let me get to the reason why I'm excited about this matchup. I think the interior of this offensive line, I think Besantis last year at right tackle was out of position. He's going to be a much better guard, and he'll be at left guard. And to me, that already is an improvement. He's a big, powerful dude. He's one of those road grading type guys. He's got a little bit of an attitude. I like that in my offensive line. He's no longer a freshman that's coming out of high school and little, without any sort of
I agree.
learn there, So I love Besantis at left guard.
I'm not in love with it, but go ahead.
And then Reed Adams at right guard, coming over from Kansas, a guy that's another attitude type of dude, right? Like has a mean streak about him, wants to get after folks. That kind of dude, right? That's my kind of offensive lineman, especially at the guard spot, right? You want those big road grading, get after your butt kind of guys. That's what you want. And to me, either one of the two guys that steps into the starting point at center, Nabua, we've seen what he can do. He's played well at center. Kalinu, coming from Utah on offense.
You say Naboo has played well at center?
Yeah, he has in the past.
When? At the spring game?
Better than Foster.
Foster never played that much.
Anyway, so my point being is that interior to me, I think is going to work well. It's going to be a lot better than it has been in the past. Remember what we saw from Layden Robinson last year, right? Remember that?
Yeah, I can't believe he got drafted. Didn't he get drafted?
Yeah, like in the 4th round.
Guy has a season the last 2 years like Layden Robinson goes in the 4th round. So what does that tell you? The talent's there, the NFL sees it, the coaching sucked, right?
Yes.
So what you're playing, you're hoping is the coaching's better and the schemes are better. Because I think that possibly the coaching, not just the offensive line coach himself, they weren't playing to their strengths. They kept saying if Layden Robinson gets his hands on a guy, he can move him anywhere he wants to. Well, they weren't giving Layden a chance to get his hands on people.
That dude didn't get his hands on anybody.
That's what I'm saying. They weren't running the ball towards him.
And that's sort of my point. I think that there's nowhere to go but up here, right? I mean, this offensive line's got to be better. The one thing that worries me with this particular matchup is that the two guys that play on the other side, Riley Mills, Howard Cross, both are seniors, and they're not like the big, two big, huge dudes, right? I mean, Mills is 6'5", 295. Cross is 6'1", 288, right? A little bit quicker defensive tackle. He's going to cause some havoc. All I'm saying,
that's still pretty freaking big. 295, 288 defensive tackles.
I can guarantee you both of the guys that are going to
Pretty big.
start for the Aggies on Saturday are over 300. So there you go.
Well, that's fine, but I'm saying that's still pretty big. And you're going against. I think you're excited about our interior. I'm not as excited about it. I think Basantis moving from being a true sophomore, moving from right tackle to what is he, a left guard now?
Left guard.
And he's
He
playing
is
beside
much
Zoom.
better in the interior, man. That's all I'm going to tell you. He is
Well,
much
he couldn't
better.
be any worse than he was on the outside. I'll tell you that much. He couldn't be any worse. I mean, shit, they should probably put Zune on the right tackle, switch it up a little bit. I mean, they couldn't do any worse. They could switch them all up.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'm
I think
nervous
that's
about
the,
that
I
defensive
do think
tackle.
that's the strength
I'm
of that.
worried about it. If you get pressure, if those two guys can get pressure on our interior right there, the game's over. I'll tell you that much right now.
No, and I think more importantly, especially Mills is more of a run stopping type of dude, right? He's solid in the middle. Cross a little bit more of a penetrator inside. He's going to be the guy that you're going to have to worry about through that process. But that's where they're going to have to get the pressure, right? But the thing about this defense, and we've talked and heard all about this Notre Dame defense, how good it is, and everything else. Last year, if you looked at them, these two guys anchored a defensive line that allowed only 3.5 yards per carry in the running game. But the defense itself didn't get a ton of sacks. They don't have those crazy off the chain freaking defensive end rush guys, right? And so that's
do they bring a lot of pressure? Do they bring a lot of pressure? Like, I'm not talking like blitzes. Do they blitz a lot, or they just sit back in coverage?
They will blitz a lot, and because of the fact that they've got one of the best corners in the country, they can leave him on an island, right, and bring a little extra pressure. And they can use that to their advantage. They also got, an All-American safety back there. So, with that combination, it leaves them a little bit more leeway to bring some pressure. I'll tell you this: his nature is not necessarily to bring numbers. So, I think you're going to have to force him into pressure, right? You're going to have to be able to do something to force him into pressure, and then he'll bring it, right? I think.
Well, I think what I've seen from Connor in the past with a weak offensive line, if this offensive line's a little bit better, I think he's accurate enough as a quarterback that he can pick them apart if he gets a little bit of time. That's what he needs. That's what he didn't have. And look at the numbers he put up last year before he got hurt. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna have to be ready to move. Like I said, this group, the defensive ends are not these elite defensive ends, right? Their best one, as a matter of fact, is a transfer from Duke that had 6 sacks last year at Duke, right? He's a senior. He's played a lot of football, but he's not, he's not Shamar Stewart or Nick Scorton or Howe or Silla. That I can go on.
Hearing what you're saying about the Notre Dame defensive line being a strength, you put your offensive coordinator hat on. How would you attack that? If you're Klein and you know what you have as personnel, you have Connor at quarterback, you got Moss at running back, you got how do you? I know in my head what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm almost thinking let them come a little bit and do dink and dunk stuff to the tight end over the middle. Let's see what they have at the linebacker position, or do some more screen passes. Let them get some pressure, and let's use that against them. You know what I'm saying?
Football is not hard, right? Football's not. What do I mean by that? I mean, you run the football and you play action. That's what you do. But specifically, I may run some trap game to the cross, whatever side cross is on, because I think he's more of an up the field type of guy, right? So a little bit of trap game there.
Let him get up field a little bit and go behind him. I got you.
Run right behind it, you know.
I like it.
And you know, the other thing that, you know, because of the fact that they've got these two defensive tackles, they're probably going to be a little bit more spread in the linebackers, the secondary, you know, worried more about the outsides a little bit. So you've got to find something that creases them inside, right? And maybe instead of sort of zoning them out, a little misdirection and then a little counter action where you're pulling the guard across and kicking out on the end and then, you know, doing that type of stuff. So
You said these guys aren't as big, 288, 295. I mean, that doesn't sound small to me. Can you run against those two defensive tackles or not?
well, that you have to be able to block them to run on them, right? But yeah, I
Right.
think that this team, I mean, I think that you can run on this team if you can figure out how to block those two guys. That's a lot easier said than done, by the way. But here's the thing, right? I mean, do you come out and, you know, as this team has come together, right? The tight end, I think, has to be an important piece of all this, right? And so, do you come out in two tight end sets where you're really setting up the run? You see what I'm saying? Do you come out
Yeah, I hear you, but I
tight
mean, but
ends
who
and backs?
if
Do
you
you
go
come out
two
in
tight
tight ends
ends,
and
what do you
backs?
if you go two tight ends, who are you leaving on the bench? Walker? That means you have Moose and Thomas on the outside.
Right now, actually, they've got Walker's ahead of Moose on the depth chart.
Are we doing this shit again this year? This is like the third season in a row.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out for sure tomorrow, but or the on Saturday. But right now they got Walker ahead of Moose on the depth chart, so it would be probably Thomas and Walker.
Wow.
You know, and so let's talk about that because I think that's the other side of the equation, which I was talking about earlier, right? If you can run the football, you can run the football, get some tight ends on the field, you know, run the football, establish a little bit of a game there. Then you can come back off of that and play action. And the matchup that I'm talking about is our 6'6" and 6'4" wide receivers against their 6-foot cornerbacks and safeties. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I hear you. Yeah, I like it. But I mean, I like our tight ends. I mean, I like Green. If he's healthy and he shows me what he did 2 years ago,
I think it's going to be more Watson on Saturday. I think Green
you're just
is
raining on my parade already. I don't even know if I'm watching the freaking game with all the shit you're telling me. Watson.
so.
Shit. Moose ain't gonna play. Oh, great. We
I
already
didn't say
lost
Moose isn't
Owens.
going to play. I said he's behind Walker on the depth chart right now. And
Great.
the other guy that's listed in as a starter on that depth chart is Cyrus Allen, at the transfer wide receiver.
Wait, where is he? Which one did he train? Law Tech?
No, he's the other one.
Shit, I can't remember. Okay.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, we had so many of them come in and out. I can't remember because we had that one kid last year that transferred in and left from the season even started.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I sort of like that matchup. I like that size advantage. I like the fact that we got two guys that can go up and go get it. As you know, I'm a big time Moose supporter and lover. I hope that they put him on the field and give him opportunity because all he does is catch the football.
Well, I hope they put Moose in the slot, JD Walker and Thomas on the outside. Let Moose handle that middle because I think the Notre Dame middle interior that right behind the defensive tackles. I don't know how good their linebackers are.
Right.
They're not that good. I think Moose, Green, even Moss or Daniels can have big games.
And I do think that so let's get to the running backs because I think this is going to be the key to this game. In all honesty, I think the difference maker could be Le'Veon Moss on Saturday, and
Really,
I am for two reasons. One, I think this dude has, you know, if the offensive line can play a little bit, I think this dude's they're gonna hand him the football. They're gonna give him an opportunity to go get yards. And the reason I say that is that because of the potential for bad weather and the fact that this is a big time game that they want to obviously win against a team that is more known for their defense than offense. And so in reality, they have to be. I have a feeling they're going to have a conservative mindset in the sense of, trying to keep the run game, keep the game close, right? Let the run game keep the game close.
I got you. No, so you're not looking at a shootout. You're looking at a low scoring game. Both teams pounding the ball. I don't know, man. I think it all depends on Klein, this offense. If he does what he did at Kansas State, we can go up and down the field.
Yeah,
I think we have the talent to go up and down the field. It just depends on. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking on my ass right now because I don't know anything at all about what they're going to do.
yeah, we're gonna have to see, right? I mean, what does he? What does he do? How much creativity does he get out there? How much is he attacking down the field and all those types of things? I think it is the way to do it, right? I mean, boom, 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 pound it, and then play action pass, get over the top. It's football
I have
101.
no idea. Are we going to see a quick passing game too? Are we going to see a short, quick passing game like more screens and slants and stuff that we never saw with Jimbo? Or are we going to just see where the quarterback holds the ball too long, gets sacked?
Yeah,
And then
I
gets
think
yelled
he's
at.
gonna scheme up more quick open stuff, right? Like
I like that.
and yeah, you're right. I mean, something that we never really saw then, under the prior regime. And
No,
and I do expect for him to do that. And that includes the tight end. That includes the tight end, right? With some little things
yeah.
and getting the ball out to the back at times in the passing game as well. Because that's one of the areas I agree with you in that this defense could struggle some when it comes to covering that back out of the backfield. And obviously, if Owens were healthy, that would be a great matchup in that sense. But even Moss and Daniels and Smith been doing some good things with his hands.
You know what we should do, Leo? We should do a podcast, like a 10-minute podcast during halftime and say what they should do and what's wrong with the game and see if they freaking have time to watch it so they can fix their shit.
We'll do it.
Jimbo tried. He didn't ever watch this, so
Yeah, it's true.
we had all the answers.
I'll give him a call at halftime. Make sure we make some adjustments there.
Good.
Do you think the A&M offense will be able to run the football effectively?
From what I saw, I honestly don't know. I have no idea. You seem more optimistic about the offensive line than I am. I don't know enough about this kid Adams. I know what I saw in DeSantis last year. He looked. You sit out of position, which is good. He didn't look as strong as I thought he was going to look last year. I thought that his footwork looked bad. He looked like he got overpowered sometimes. I don't know. I just hope it's better. I just
Yeah.
right
Look,
now I'm a little bit optimistic, not quite as much as you are. I think
look,
this right here is gonna be this is a
I
huge
do.
challenge for
I have
A&M right here.
questions. I have questions about the offensive line for sure. The one thing though that I can almost 100% guarantee is that they're going to be better because they can't be worse than last year's. There's no
Yeah.
way that anybody could coach an offensive line worse than last year's offensive line coach. Okay, so forget about it. Right? So they're going to be better just because of that.
So okay, so you're talking about A&M's O against the Notre Dame D. How many points can A&M's offense score?
Well, and we'll move on to defense here in a second, but I think this is all really about Connor. I think this is all really about Connor, and I say that because look, we can talk offensive line, we can talk wide receivers. We got a certain matchups at the wide receiver spot. We got a good tailback, all those things. This game is going to be about Connor because of the fact that it's his poise and his ability to get the ball out, which you talked about earlier, and his ability to deliver the ball on time and under pressure. And he's got that sixth sense when it comes to sort of seeing the field. But all that to say, they're going to make sure and ask him to not lose the game as well. Protect the football. And one thing he doesn't do is turn the ball over.
So when you say they're going to ask him to be, does that mean you have to be more conservative? Does that mean you don't take as many
I
chances
think they're going to try to
downfield?
run the football. I think they're going to try to run the football. I also think that they're going to do some stuff off the run game. But at the end of the day, they're also not they're not going to get so aggressive where they just start slinging it all over the place because of the fact that they're going to have a game plan to shorten this game. I believe that in bad weather, especially, you know, because I think
So
they
you
also
think Connor's gonna be running? You think Connor's gonna run the ball a lot?
called.
You think Connor will have more than 5 rushes?
Not
Not 5
called,
rushing yards, just
not called,
Hmm.
not 5 called rushing plays, more than 5.
You think Connor Weigman will have more than 50 yards rushing?
He may break one or two. I don't know. I'd say somewhere around probably 35.
Okay. What about Moss? Think he breaks 100?
We'll hit that in a minute.
All right.
Let's move on over here to the A&M defense facing this Notre Dame offense. This last year that group scored almost 40 points a game, but it's a completely different situation here, right? I mean, they obviously Riley Leonard, the new quarterback, but they've also got a brand new offensive coordinator, Den Brock, that was at LSU last year, right?
Right.
They're replacing a bunch of offensive linemen. 2 of them went to the NFL, and then one got injured, and there's some questions there. But supposedly they brought in better receivers. So maybe their goal this year is we're going to sling it all over the place, let Riley Leonard play mini Johnny football, and see what happens.
Riley Leonard's not a slinger. He's a thinker on his feet. He makes things happen. He takes a broken play and makes it something almost like a Johnny.
Yeah, that's
He's like a poor man's Johnny. I mean, I like watching the kid play at Duke, and he should have more talent around him than what he had at Duke. But he's going to be going up against a lot more competition also than what he played in the ACC. He's going to be going up against A&M.
Yeah, and I'll tell
I
you.
guess Notre Dame pretty much plays the ACC schedule, so he won't be going up against better competition except for this week.
I'll say this: look, he's not the best thrower, right?
No,
But athletically, really good. What concerns me with this offense is Riley Leonard and then the running game with Jeremiah Love or whatever, because that's going to be off script stuff, right? And this defense can find itself sometimes out of position because of the complexities. And if he gets a crease, if those defensive ends get up the field and all of a sudden he gets a crease, he's going to hurt you, right? He's got that kind of athleticism, is that he can hurt you with his legs if you give him the opportunity, if he can break through on some of these things. So if they don't play very disciplined, especially up front and on the defensive ends, making sure that they're containing and doing those things, that's the part of this game that worries me, right?
Right.
Stewart and Scorton aren't going to be able to be as aggressive probably as they normally would be. And because they're going to have to sort of hold up and make sure that he doesn't break contain. The guy that
you don't think they're having anybody shadowing him? You don't think they have somebody shadow Riley Leonard the whole game?
Yeah,
it's not going to be York. I don't see York doing that.
York, I don't think York can keep up with him. So you better use.
I don't think so either.
So it could be the other linebacker, whether it's Scooby, the Shields, or Sanford, which all 3 of them will play at times. So I think the guy that's going to really wreck this thing is Shamar Turner from the inside. That's the guy that I would send in there and, okay, you go get him. Right? Go destroy this thing from the inside. Let your outside guys contain and make sure to keep them in the pocket. Let those interior guys just absolutely blast them.
So are you concerned about Riley Leonard is my question.
Yes.
Is there anybody else on the offense that concerns you besides Riley Leonard?
No.
Tight ends?
The tailback's good, right? And the running game with the quarterback's going to help the running game with the tailback, right? So there's some interplay there. So yeah, the running game concerns me a little bit. I'm not too worried about them slinging the ball all over the field, though.
Okay. I don't know. I'm more worried about when a play breaks down like you're talking about, and Leonard making something happen, either through the air or with his feet. If whenever that play breaks down, the secondary is going to start to scatter too, and that's when a receiver comes open out of nowhere, and you have a big play. And something where you thought it was maybe a 5-yard loss turns to a 30-yard gain.
And so that's the question that I had for you. Can the Aggie D avoid giving up the big play?
Ah, I think Notre Dame will probably get a couple of big plays. I
You
think
know,
we have a new secondary pretty much. We have what, 2 returners, and Anderson and whoever else is back there.
well,
I could see a couple big plays.
yeah, and that's what worries me, right? And if they just crease you on one or something like that, I don't think that Notre Dame is going to be able to consistently move the ball, right? I don't think that they're going to sit there and drive up and down the field. I do think that they can hurt you with a big play from time to time. And so that's how they're going to score. They're going to score on big plays, whether it's play action or Leonard running on a scramble or something of that nature, right? That's what I think.
I hear you.
Which
I
may
don't know.
probably puts a lot of pressure on a guy like Anderson, who's back there and he's supposed to be your sort of eraser on things. Brooks or Jones, whoever starts on the other side, right? Those safeties are going to be the ones that sort of get put in a position where they have to make sure that we hold up.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't know. I think field positions will play a big part in this game. If we can pin them deep, make them go, 60, 70, 80 yards instead of going 30 or 40. Like you said, controlling the ball. I don't know. I have no idea right now. I'm excited to watch this game just to see what our team looks like. I want to see the defense if it's as good as what people are thinking with that D line. If our offense can move the ball against it, if we can move the ball against a talented Notre Dame team, just move it. That'll make me excited for the rest of the season. If our offense comes out and does 150 yards of total offense, Connor passed for 100, we ran for 50, we had 2 or 3 turnovers. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, I mean, clearly all those things are true, right? Look, you know what I'm really excited to see? I'm really excited to see a defensive line with Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner, DJ Hicks, and Nick Scorton, or Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, Cassius Howe, and Malik Silla, and just letting them loose, just, all right, boys, go eat.
All right, I want to have some fun real quick. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you just tell me who's better. Is A&M's offensive line better than the Notre Dame defensive line?
Whew, no.
Okay. Is Notre Dame's offensive line better than A&M's defensive line?
No.
So it's a wash. Is that what you're saying? It's a wash?
Kind of, yeah. Maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe, yeah. I think
who do you give the advantage to?
I'd give our defensive line a bigger advantage than their defensive line. How about that?
Okay, so we got quarterback Riley Leonard, Connor. Who do you give the advantage to?
Connor, all day, every day.
Okay, so we got the advantage in 2 spots, right? Our secondary versus their secondary, against our wide receivers against their wide receiver. Who do you like?
Then you got to go Notre Dame on that one, I think.
Okay, 2-1. What am I forgetting? Running backs, running game. Who do you like?
I like our guy.
So 3-1. I mean, right now we're damn near
I'd say
dominating
that one probably you probably say that one may break even with it. And I don't know. I think maybe we have better depth too. I mean,
Daniel, it comes down to, so we're up 3-1 right now in position battles. Our O line and D lines. You said
that's all fine and dandy. That's all fine and dandy. But
it comes down to coaching. So who's coaching?
You know as well as I do that you don't have to just be the more talented group. You have to get out there and be in a position to make plays and actually make the plays,
Yeah.
right?
So you haven't answered the question. A&M's -3. You putting like $100 on the Aggies?
I'm going to tell you what the bet is on that. I'm putting $100 on the under.
Oh, the under.
Yeah, the under.
You know, the more we talk, the more I'm thinking over. I keep thinking of a score in my head, what the final score is going to be. I think it's going to be like,
I'm going to give you a chance to predict that here in a second. So keep thinking
all right,
about that. But before
I
we get
got you.
there, how about the player of the game? The players of the game. Offensively, who do you expect to be the players of the game?
Man, I'm really expecting Green to have a big game at tight end if he plays well. I think I think that interior, the middle of the Notre Dame field is going to get exposed because I think you're right. I think we're going to run the ball and try to run it. Then we're going to do a little play action. I think Green's going to be a big part. And
I like the tight end choice, but you got the wrong one. It's going to be Watson.
why would it be Watson?
Because
I
Green
saw
is still
Green. I've
not
seen Green
100%.
play. I don't know. I don't know anything about Watson.
Because Green is still not 100%. Look, I think the easy answer to this question is Connor, right? Connor is probably the easy answer that he's going to be the offensive player of the game because if the offense does well, the quarterback does well normally. But I'm going to go another way here. I sort of teased it a little bit earlier, but I think Le'Veon Moss is going to be the player of the game. And I'm
So that
talking,
means they had a good run game.
I'm talking a cool hundo of yards wise, and I'm going to go call them 2 touchdowns for Le'Veon. That is what I call a bold prediction.
That's pretty bold.
All right.
That's going to start a Heisman talk if he gets 100 yards and 2 touchdowns at the beginning of the game, first game of the season against Notre Dame.
Let's start the campaign, baby. I want to
Start
go
the
back
campaign.
I want to go back to Heisman territory. How about defensively? Who's your guy?
Well, you kind of. I mean, I want to see Nick Scorton get after it, but I don't. Like you said, I don't. I think he might be a little bit more conservative. And honestly, I like to see Anderson have a huge game back in the secondary, like ball hawking.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some turnovers. If that D line can get some pressure on Leonard, you know, he's gonna move no matter what. That's just in his genes. And he's not a Johnny Manziel. We say he's a poor man's Johnny. He's gonna turn the ball over.
He's like a homeless man's Johnny.
Yeah, very. So I mean, I like Leonard a lot. I like him as a quarterback. He was great at Duke. I enjoyed watching him, but I think he can be turnover prone. Anderson, my guy.
You know, I had a similar thought, but I went.
Turner.
I think it's Tyreek Chappelle, man.
Really? I thought you were going to say Turner. After all the talk you just said about Turner causing havoc.
No. DeMar Turner is going to be a part of that, right? And DeMar is the easy answer here. Again, easy answer.
Oh, the easy. Well, just like Connor was the easy answer.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go Tyreek Chappelle, and I expect him to play a lot in the nickel, and I expect him to cause havoc out of that position, with maybe Shamar putting a little pressure on Riley Leonard and forcing him to get rid of the ball before he wants to, and Chappelle just jumping one. Yeah.
I like it.
Tyreek Chappelle. Let's go through. Hey, let's go to the book. The book. So start with that A&M game. Pick it, Corey. What do you think? What are you taking? Are you taking over under? Are you taking the point spread at -3?
I'll be honest. I'd probably take Notre Dame plus the 3. I mean, I like the Aggies to still win a really close one. I mean, I'm talking like 24-23. You know what I'm saying? Like a last-second field goal, or whoever has the ball last probably win the game.
Look, I sort of agree with you on that.
I'd probably tease it to +9 or whatever. It's a lot of points in this kind of game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. So, like, if you can get 3 points, I think you probably take the points if you're going to bet. But here's my thing. I'm gonna bet the under. Forget about everything else. I'm gonna bet the under. I expect, especially if it rains out there, I expect this thing to get sloppy and just defense.
Who's that help? If it rains, who's the help?
I think it helps the Aggies because of the fact that our quarterback is less turnover prone.
Okay.
And that's the bet I would take. I mean, how about a prediction on the score, Corey?
I said 24-23 is mine. It's Aggies win 24-23.
Ooh. With that,
That goes over.
that goes over. You're going over. Okay. 14-17. That's my prediction. 14-17. Good guys. Good guys.
All right.
All right, let's go through some stuff around the country. Friday night, Temple OU. OU's minus 42.5 with a 59.5 over under.
42. These spreads get me when you're favored by 42.5 and the over under is 59.
Yeah.
I have no idea
I'm taking
about
Temple, by the way. I'm taking Temple.
Huh?
I'm taking Temple in the points. There's a chance of rain up there, by the way.
What's your boss think about that?
Huh?
What's your boss man think about that?
He's not happy with me.
Yeah, I bet.
But, it is what it is. How about Clemson, Georgia on Saturday? Georgia's minus 13.5 with an over-under at 48.5.
Man, that Georgia team's got a lot of stuff that's happening to them right now, and they've lost a lot of talent. But Clemson doesn't believe in the transfer portal. They're just keeping their players. I mean, I think Georgia wins the game. That's a lot of points, 2 touchdowns. I'll probably take Georgia.
Yeah, we're gonna be on opposite sides of that one because I think it's too many points.
Who do you think wins?
Georgia's got to replace Bowers and Ladd, McConkey, and those were their 2 guys last year. They don't know who's going to be playing at running back. I think Carson Beck is overrated at this point. Look, do they have players? They've got players, right? I mean, they've got.
Who do you like from Clemson? Who do you like from Clemson? You're saying all this about Georgia. Who do you like from Clemson?
All I'm saying is that it's not, to me, the difference in talent in these 2 squads is not 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
So
There's a big.
Yeah. The under might be a good bet too.
Yeah.
How about Penn State, West Virginia? Your dad's West Virginia.
He's already talking about this game.
Penn State's
He's asking me questions about the quarterback from Penn State. I told him, I was like, Dad, I wasn't impressed with that kid last year. Because that's what your brother said. I was like, West Virginia impressed me last year. I wasn't expecting much, and they did well. Now people are expecting stuff, so I'm expecting for a down year. So I'm almost leaning Penn State in this game, to be honest now. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking Penn State.
Look, I like the fact that it's at West Virginia, right? I like the fact that it's at West Virginia. I do think that the Penn State quarterback gets a lot more credit than he should ever get. I don't know that I'd take Penn State on that side. I actually like the under in this game too. I expect both of these defenses to really step it up at 51.5 under.
West Virginia doesn't have much of a defense.
Yeah, they will this year. Illinois State at Iowa. Illinois State at Iowa, minus 22.5, 40.5 over under.
Any Iowa game, you got to take the under.
Boom! Winner.
I don't care who it is.
Winner.
If you see Iowa and the over-under's 10,
take the under.
You got to lean to that under.
Yeah, I agree.
We saw it too many times last year. Weird shit happens with that Iowa team. I don't get it. I don't know what it is.
We may bet like $1,000 on Iowa this weekend. Under. South Dakota State at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State.
I don't know what this we is. You say we. Ain't no we in
Oklahoma State is only a 10-point favorite, bro. What do you think?
Is this the South Dakota State team that dominates the FCS?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Oklahoma State has that running back and a quarterback back.
That's correct.
I'll take Oklahoma State. I'll take Oklahoma State.
Yeah, give the points. I think they're not getting enough respect right now. How about Colorado State at Texas? Texas is favored by 32 with an over-under at 60.5.
Man, this Texas team makes me nervous with all the stuff they lost, players they lost over the year. Are they that good?
I don't know. The question I have is Colorado State any good, right?
I doubt it. I don't think they are. I really don't. I mean,
Yeah,
I think Texas could. I think Texas will win the game, but 32 is a lot of points. I'd probably take Texas in the 32.
I was kind of thinking the over maybe. I don't know.
Ah,
This could, 20. Texas lost a lot on that defensive line. Anyway, I'd take the over. Miami at Florida. Florida's plus 2.5. Miami's minus 2.5. 53.5 over under.
give me a Miami all day.
Give me the over all day. Both of these defenses were horrible last year. Like
I hear
way
you.
over. That's not even going to be close. Way.
Yeah,
Western Kentucky at Bama, 31.5 points.
give me Bama. I like Bama. I think they're going. I think DeBro is going to show something different on that offense. I think they're going to. I think they're going to score a lot of points. It might be a high scoring game.
Yeah, once again,
Alabama.
over looks like a good number. I like the over. I'm over. I'm a lot of overs today.
You always are.
Yeah, because when you hit the over, you hit the over, baby.
Game's over. Game's over. Halftime. Hit the over. God.
Look, and Western Kentucky's known for moving the ball around a little bit and scoring some points. So
Yeah, they
Bama's
disappointed me a lot last year.
secondary-
I appreciate it.
Yes, Bama's
Thanks, Western
secondary has questions.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, Fresno State at Michigan. Michigan minus 21, 45.5 over under.
I mean, Michigan lost Harbaugh and all those guys. But what does Fresno State have?
Nothing.
I mean, Michigan's at home. That's a lot of traveling from Fresno to Michigan. Give me Michigan 21. I'll take Michigan minus 21.
I like it. I like
They
it.
just came off a national championship, didn't they?
They just came off a national championship. They lost a lot from that
Michigan.
team, though.
Yeah, that's all right. They'll be all
They
right.
do have one of the best defensive lines in the country. Fresno State's going to be overwhelmed. They're going to
Michigan's defense might cover that spread by themselves.
yeah, they're going to dominate. USC LSU in Vegas. LSU's minus 4.5, 64.5 over under.
Oh, that's a overall day. Those two offenses, no defense. I'm surprised it's only 64.5. I'm surprised it's not like 80.
I mean, we used to take the over in LSU last year when the damn over under was 84 or something, like.
And if that's the over under right now, you should get on that and just put some money on it right now because.
And they hit it.
Yeah, that's a halftime over right there.
Yeah, I agree. Question from the tailgate today. Corey, how does Connor start the Heisman campaign?
Well, with a win. That's the only way you can start it is with a win. You got to start it with a W. You can't turn the ball over. I told you I like to tie it in, catching a bunch of passes, maybe a touchdown or two, and I think Connor's gonna have a good game. I think a good game for him this week would be 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, and like maybe 40, 50 yards rushing.
I'm gonna go with the first thing you said, with a win, because I expect them to lean on the running game. I really do, as I talked about Moss earlier. I don't expect Connor's stats to be big, but I expect him to be efficient, and I expect him to take care of the football. Win or lose, what is the one thing you want to see from your offense, from your defense? Offensively, what's the one thing you want to see?
Blocking. I want to see blocking. I want to see the offensive line do a great job. I want to see the running game give us confidence and that the play calling has gotten better. That's not stagnant, that we're capable of making changes mid-game, halftime, whatever it is. That's the one thing that I want to see this game. I want to see optimism throughout. I don't want to be after this game like our offensive line sucks. Play calling's about the same. Season's over.
Offensively, I'm going to tell you what I want to see. I want to see explosive plays with an S. With an S.
You just talked about playing conservative football. Now you want to see explosive plays. You got to make up your damn mind. You can't play
run the ball
football
and make an explosive play on the ground.
Now you give me 6 to 7 yards of carry, I'll live with it all day.
And then you can go over the top and hit it over there. How
There
about
you go.
defensively? What do you want to see?
Turnovers, baby. I want to see turnovers. I love turnovers. I want to see the
Yes.
defensive line get some pressure, get their hands up. Riley Leonard running like a cat, throwing the ball, maybe a pick six. I doubt we'll see one, but that's what I want to see. I want to see turnovers. We haven't been a turnover team in a while.
That's a great one. I want to see him let the defensive line eat. Just go, sack, rush, just eat. D-line eat, Not all this pussyfooting around, stunting around BS.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do we need to do
Just
stunts
go.
with the talent we have? Do we need to do stunts with the talent we have?
Man, there's not an offensive line in this country that can stand up to this defensive line. In the country.
Bold words.
Bold words. Giga
I
Mag,
heard that here.
Steve Money, AP in the house, late.
Adios.